Hey y'all, and welcome to Monter's Market, and welcome to my huge, easy-to-make rustic farmhouse home decor. I am going to show you 3 of the largest pieces I have ever made. I'm going back in time. DIY number 3 is actually one of my very, very, very first things I ever done. So if the timeline seems off when I'm talking, that's going to be the reason why. So let's get into DIY number 1, and I'll show you what I have for you. 3 huge, easy-to-make rustic farmhouse home decor pieces. So for DIY number 1, this sign sold at Kirkland's for $130, and I made it for around $5. So let me show you how I did it. Now, when I did it, that's what it was. But when I went back to get the picture for this, it was on clearance, of course. So anyway, I just took the measurements to Home Depot. They were gracious enough to cut them out for me, or, cut the plywood for me. I got this sort of thinner plywood, had it cut to the specs of the one from Kirkland's. It cost me about $2.50 for that piece of plywood because it was a scrap piece. I took my hand sander and I sanded it down to get a really smooth surface. And don't be scared of power tools. They are so easy to use, and I love them. Now, this is my skill saw, or whatever that thing's called, miter saw, I think, where you miter your ends to make the frames come together. Now, this is just a 1x2 or 1x4. No, that's a 1x2. And I'm just placing it after I've already measured and marked it, cutting my edges, cutting my corners, and getting them ready to put my frame together. Now, once I get everything cut down to where it needs to be, I'm going to sand those down and just make sure that everything's smooth. There's not any splinters or anything. That's my granddaughter Macy helping me. I'm teaching her how to use power tools, and she loves it. And so we get it all sanded down and get it ready to stain. Now, this is the cheaper wood, and it takes on stain absolutely beautifully. I love the way this particular wood looks once you stain it. It just shows every teeny tiny little crack and dent and knot in the wood, and it's just stunning to me. So I go on with this Varathane wood stain called Jacobian. It's a very dark stain, and I love it. It is gorgeous. And like I said, this wood takes it beautifully. Now, my grandbabies happened to be here at the time, and they wanted to help. So we gloved them up, gave them a little thing with some stain on it, and they went to town. And then Macy and Riley helped me with the White Waverly chalk paint to paint my base. And once we all got together and started painting, it didn't take us but about 20 minutes to get the whole thing done and ready to go. All we had to do then was wait for it to dry. Now, once it was dry, I kind of put it together to make sure everything was, like where it needed to be. And then I took my, what is that stuff called? It's Oracle stencil film. Now, I'm going to have that link down in my Amazon store below if you want to try it. It is amazing. Now, look here. When you see the way that I cut this, you're going to go, what in the world were you doing? I was being lazy, and I was trying to be thrifty and save myself some stencil film. So I cut it to where I could fit everything on one piece, and boy, did I cut it close. But that's okay because it all worked out in the end. Once I got it cut out and placed on my board, it was perfect. You just lay it out. The only thing is, you got to make sure, you see where the blue is, you got to make sure that you put some tape or something right there at the edges to make sure that you don't get your black paint where it's not supposed to be. You see how I kind of like pieced some pieces together? And then before I did that now, I went in with some Mod Podge and sealed the edges in. I forgot to tell you that part. Then I went back with my ink by Waverly. And now when you are doing your stencil, I've said this before, but if you've never seen me do this before, you do not want to paint or swipe. You just want to daub up and down until you get it until you get the coverage that you want, because you can always add more, but it's really hard to take more off. So then I'm going to go in with my white Waverly chalk paint again, and I'm just going to sort of dust over the top of this, and it gives it sort of like more of a distressed look, because what I have found, if you have black paint and white and you take your hand sander or whatever, it tends to like get muddy. You know what I mean? So now I'm taking my staple gun, and I call myself stapling my frame together. Well, that was a hot mess. That did not work. So I ended up making me some pilot holes. I took all the staples out, made me some pilot holes with the help of my honey, and we did it the right way. Now, I did add some wood glue in the corners of each one of those. I put these little hooks on. I screwed my plywood to my frame, and look at the result. That is a $130 Kirkland's dupe for $5. That's right, $5. That 1x2 for 8 feet, or however many feet it was like $2.50. The backing, like I said, was only $2 and something. So with the paint and the stencil film and everything, I figure I've got about $5 in this whole picture. So don't tell me it can't be done. I think it looks beautiful. Now, I always think my own work looks beautiful, but I want to hear down in the comments what you think about this high-end dupe. Did I do it justice? And now, I know I nailed it on the price point for $5. So let me know down in the comments what you think about this. Now, for DIY number two, this is a noodle board, and these things are massive and they are extremely intimidating. But listen, do not be intimidated by this. This was the easiest thing I have ever done in my life. So I like to cut my own wood, but you do not have to do that if you don't have the tools. You can go to your local Home Depot or whatever store you have that sells lumber. You're going to need 4 29.5 pieces of a 1x6 and 2 22-inch pieces of a 1x2. And that's it. They will cut it for you, get it ready for you, and you just take it home and finish it. Like I said, I like to cut my wood, but to each his own. Then you take your wood pieces. I like to line them up, make sure they're really, really good and even. And then I use Gorilla wood glue. That works wonderful for me. And then I have a brad nailer that is super easy to use. And I love my power tools. I don't know, they just make me feel like I can do anything. So anyway, I get my other end to go on, and my grandson walked out about the time I went to do this and offered to help, so I let him. So he just kind of pulled the pieces in so I could make sure they were good and tight before I put my next piece down. And then you just nail it down, and that's really the hardest part about making this noodle board. And you can see from what I just showed you, there is nothing hard about making this. If you don't have a brad nailer, you can use a hammer and nails. Easy peasy, no problem. And then after you get it all put together, you just need to stain it or paint it, whatever you're going to choose to do. Now, I'm using this Varathane walnut color to stain mine. Well, actually, it was dark walnut. But anyway, and then I went to my Cricut and I made this form of the noodle board and sized it the way it would be. Put my name on there and sort of got my dimensions. I put my stencil down after I got it cut out, and I like to use the Mod Podge to go in and just give it a really good seal. This is something I learned later after I was doing this for a while. And then when you put your paint down, it's all sealed in and you don't have any runs or any leaks or anything like that. So as you see, I forgot this little spot up here on the top left of the, so I just took a piece of the thing that I pulled up and cut it off and made it work. Then I went back over it one more time with my polyurethane to seal it all in, flipped it over, added my hardware, My little honey was coming home from work whenever I was in the process of this, and he stopped and helped me. Y'all, that man is my heartbeat. But anyway, he helped me get my handles on, and that was it. How much easier does this get? So if you've ever seen those things and people are charging anywhere between $75 and $150 and up for these noodle boards, you can literally do it for about, now when I did this back in December, I was making a ton of them because I had so many orders for them. I was only spending about $15 for my plywood, or not plywood, but for my boards. Now, wood has gone up like crazy. Okay, so let's get into DIY number 3. This is a shelf that I got at the Goodwill for $2.99. Can you believe it? This shelf was in absolutely perfect condition. There's my price tag, $2.99. I know it's a little fuzzy, but that's what it is. Trust me, $2.99. I was blown away. The quality of this shelf is amazing. Now, I dropped it down off my porch onto the concrete. That's me showing my little price off. And nicked this edge right here and actually busted the side of it loose. And I was so upset with myself because it was in absolutely perfect condition until I dropped it. But it was an easy fix, and you'll see me in just a moment sand the edge down and get it kind of looking new again. But I was pretty upset with myself whenever that happened. So what I do is just take my sander and I sanded the entire shelf down. Now, the white was pretty and it was really in good shape. The paint job honestly didn't need to be redone. But recently I bought some Oops paint at Home Depot, and it is the most beautiful moss green that you have ever seen. Now, this is the first year that I've kind of gotten into the moss green at Christmas time, but I am loving it. It is the beautifulest, get my tongue untied, the most beautiful color I have seen in a long time. And I wasn't too keen on it in the beginning, but it has grown on me and I love it. So the first thing I did was take off these little bejeweled, I guess this was in a little girl's room. It's the only thing I can imagine. And she decorated this shelf so cute with all these little jewels, and it was adorable, but it did not fit what I wanted to do with it. So after I got that little edge down there sanded, I took the little jewels off and continued sanding the shelf. I got all of the old paint, and I didn't really take it down to the wood because once I got into sanding, I just really wanted to take off kind of the top layer to give the new layer of paint something to stick to, and it worked perfect. So the little bit of sanding that I did was all it needed. So I'll just continue to sand it until I get it to where I think it needs to be, and then I'll start painting it in just a minute. And then you'll see once I get to the part where I broke it, I'll have to take my little brad nailer and nail it back together. So I will just continue to sand it, and here I am just making that little correction and getting it back in place. Got it all sanded, and here is my Oops paint. I paid $2.50 for that can of paint, and that paint was originally $16.99, so I got a super good deal on the paint. So I put my little gloves on, opened my paint, and just started to paint. And it didn't take very long, but it is raining cats and dogs here right now. And I tell you, it would have took probably 3 days for this paint to dry if I hadn't helped it along. So you'll see me in just a minute take my heat gun and just kind of give it some help drying, because, you know, when it's raining and the humidity gets all messed up, a paint just does not want to dry. So I go through and give it the first coat of this beautiful moss green paint. And then once I finished the moss green paint, I went back in with some Waverly white wax and just sort of dry brushed it on. And then I went behind that with some Waverly truffle and dry brushed over the top of that. I was trying to give it an old, aged, distressed look, and I could not be happier with the way it turned out. I was tickled pink. So you'll just see me continue to paint it. And then once it's dry, like I said, I go back in with the other two colors and distressed it. And I was kind of proud of myself because this is my very first project that I have ever made old new again. So once you see the finished product, please leave me a comment in the section below and let me know how you think I done. Let me know if I did good. If you have some tips on what I should have done different, I would love excuse me, love to hear those tips. I am very, very new to YouTube. I've only been here, I want to say, a little over a month now. This is my third collaboration. I absolutely love doing these things. And it has my subscribers up to almost 130 now. So if you are just watching me for the first time, my name is Brenda, and you are watching Monter's Market. There's the rain. Just had to turn it around and show you this rain. It has been raining here for days, and it is supposed to rain for days. So this is the conditions that I'm working under right now. But I just thought I would share that with you. But anyway, this is Monter's Market. I would love it if you would follow me here, or subscribe to me here, should I say, on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, all three at Monter's Market. It is spelled Monners. My grandkids call me Monter, so that's where the name come from. And I love that name. Now this is where I take the Waverly white wax. Excuse me. The rain has my allergies all messed up. So I go in with the white and I just kind of give it a little dry brush, and then I go behind it again, like I said, with the truffle, and just continue to paint it until I get the desired look. And I'm just tickled to death. But like I was saying a minute ago, leave me a comment and let me know how you think I done, what I could have done different, because I am open to any advice that you can give me. Like I said, I'm new at this. This is my first thing that I've ever taken and redone. I was intending to sell it whenever I bought it and knew I was going to use it for this particular video. But now that it's done, I'm so in love with it. Like, I don't think I want to sell it. I think I want to find a place in my house and hang it up, because I surprised myself at the way it turned out. And you'll see in just a minute here, whenever it's finished, how cute it is. So, like I said, if you're not subscribed to me already, I would love, love, love if you would subscribe to my channel. Leave me a big thumbs up if you liked it, and share. I would love it if you shared it. But most importantly, make sure that you follow the playlist that I will have linked in the section below, and watch everyone else that is in this collaboration making something old new. I'm telling you, I don't know if it's the rain or what, but my tongue has been all twisted up. And I get real nervous still too when I'm doing these videos. So that's probably another reason that I am having a hard time speaking, because I'm nervous right now. But this is where I'm going in and just kind of finishing up the front now. Trying to get a little bit closer for you to see it. I love the look that this white wax adds. And it's just so pretty. Look at that. Don't you love it? And you see where I'm picking up a little bit of that brown. I'm using the same paintbrush, believe it or not. I just didn't see any sense in switching the paintbrush and, keep washing it or using 2 paintbrushes or whatever. And it still turned out exactly how I wanted it. Isn't that shelf beautiful? Look at the detail. And again, like I said, it's super heavy. I mean, real heavy. It's solid wood, and it was made very well. And this shelf is going to last a long time. Look at that. That's it. I just love the way it turned out. Be sure to tell me what you think. Look at that color. Isn't it pretty? Now, this video doesn't have anything to do with Christmas. And the reason I said that is because a minute ago I said the moss green at Christmas time. It just happens to be a real popular color that people are using right now. But this is the finished product, and I am so proud of it. See that ridge right there? That's a plate holder. They put those ridges in there so you can set plates up and display them. And I don't know if I'm going to use this in my dining room or not, but I'm thinking I may. But look, don't you just love that color? Boy, did I ever take you back in time for this one. This one was made when I think, what did I say? I had only like a little over 100 people. Now, thankfully, after 3 years, I have right at 30,000. It takes forever to build your audience. But anyway, if you are new to Monter's Market, this is the first time you've ever been here, welcome. My name is Brenda, but my sweet grandbabies call me Monter. I have a video every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do a live chat with every single premiere, and we love to talk. I love the people that come to my live chat to talk to me. I think they're probably all in shock today because I didn't add feet to anything, which is a joke amongst us because I love to add feet to different little things to rise it up and make it cuter. But anyway, welcome again. Like I said, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel and help me build it even higher. If you are one of the regulars, I love you so, so much, and I appreciate every time you come back and watch a video with me. I know you have other things to do with your time, except for sit here with me on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, but I love that you do that. I absolutely love that you do that. Now, the next 3 weeks, I will be out of the country. I'm going to try to get some stuff together to post over the next 3 weeks, but I will be back in about around, I think it's the 14th of September. We'll be back in the country, and I will get right back to crafting for the 17th. And until then, I appreciate you coming, and I will see you again next Tuesday at 8 p.m. I will not be here, like I said, for the next 3 weeks. I don't know if I'm going to have service to be able to live chat with you, but I do have some amazing moderators that will be in the live chat. They will still be carrying on, talking, welcoming anybody new, and chit-chatting with you through the next few weeks. So anyway, let me shut up now because I've went on way longer than I wanted to. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Be blessed. Bye now.